Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So here we go. We got a 1971 Nikon F here, king of cameras. When this camera first came out in 1958, 1959, it definitely put an end it definitely put an end to Leica's reign, and Leica has never recovered since. So basically, according to a lot of professionals that are actually telling the truth, a rich boy's toy, but to each its own. Whatever. So here we go. I got my hands on this Nikon F, and it's brand new. The person that had this is never used it. It's amazing the shape it's in. So this Nikon F, these cameras went with astronauts, went all over the world. It's the most famous camera in the world. These Nikon Fs bought us the news, bought us the world in magazines. It showed us happenings in the world. They've gone to war. They've been in war zones. They've been in the happiest places in the world. They've been to, royal weddings. I'm pretty sure some famous rock stars owned them back in the day. They were the favorite camera of those, and it's just the favorite camera. Period. These ran from I think 1958, 1958, and 59, all the way to, I'm pretty sure, 1973. So, king of cameras. This camera bought us everything. It showed us the entire world. This camera went out and opened the entire world up for us to see. So, amazing. So, anyways, this camera has the metered photomic. I never pronounce these things right. The viewfinder. So it's actually got a metered viewfinder, and this camera, it's just amazing. It has the viewfinder comes off, and it has interchangeable viewfinders. So you can get just a regular viewfinder with just a prism. This is a metered. So, a 60% center weight metering with two CDS cells. Takes two batteries. So I have the wine cell batteries because it would have been mercury batteries back then. And it has waist level viewfinder. So you can use that you can put a viewfinder on there that you can do waist level photography right through the screen. And by the way, when you look through this viewfinder here, there isn't a speck of dust in it. So the timer works in this camera. It has depth of field, flash sync. There's so many different overviews on these cameras. I'm just going to do a quick one. To rewind, you just flip this dial over to here, and you can rewind your film. It has exposure counters and stuff like that. So there's a special feature on this camera that I'm sure if some of you seen the video, I discovered last night, and it's quite interesting. So I'm not used to this, so I'm going to struggle a bit, and I'm kind of backwards because I'm looking over the camera to see here. But this should just go right. Oh, I better do this right, eh? There we go. And then we push that down snug. Make sure everything clicks in. Right? That turns everything. There we go. Clicked in. On tight. So here's the special feature. On this camera. So here we go. I know that some of you might have seen the video. So I decided for my first outing with this camera that we are going to use, because it's got stop down metering for you know, because the bunny ears, these take the bunny ears or the prongs. I'm gonna adapt the 70 to 210 millimeter AF Nikon 1.4 to this camera and do stop down metering. So what you have to do is, like I've explained before, you push this up until the metering prong up, and that snaps over to 5.6. You mount your lens. There we go. And you set it to whatever aperture you want. And there you are. You're metering with a stop-down system. Now, stop-down metering means you do your focusing and you have your aperture set. And then you push down the depth of field view. And that takes a meter reading off at whatever aperture you're setting your lens at. It takes a metering through the lens at that aperture. So you have to stop down in order to close the aperture up to wherever you set it, so it does an accurate meter reading. Now here's the trick to this, and I want everyone to pay attention to this, because all of these cameras are different. They're older. There's all kinds of things that happen. So with the prongs and the original lenses, I tested the 200 Q200 f4. This lens lets one stop less light in than the Q200 does. And I've tested this with the SolidGore spot meter and other cameras just to make sure. So that's what I'm finding. There's a one stop less light coming through this lens than the Q200, and that could be because of extra elements, you know, extra coatings. And the number two thing I'm running into here is this meter is reading one stop under to what I like. So before I take these cameras out, I always take other cameras and I go do dry tests with the SolidGore spot meter, so I understand exactly what this meter is doing before I throw an expensive roll of film in there and blow a whole roll of film and find out that I'm overexposed or underexposed. So that removes a lot of that risk of wasting a film and testing these new cameras. So to get this camera to meter right today on this gray snowy day, which is it's snowing right now and it's gray, but I'm going out anyways, and I'm using Ilford Pan Plus. So we're ending up at we're at 50. So I'm ending up doing the compensation to 2 stops. So we're overexposing. We're setting we're rating this ASA dial and the meter to a 12 ASA. And then that is actually metering the same as the SolidGore. It's metering the same as some of the digital cameras. It's metering the same as all of my other cameras. It's in that general area. So that you need to take note. You need to, you know, this is like a disclaimer. You need to, having a spot meter like this is worth its weight in gold when you're using these old cameras to do all these tests to make sure you know what your meter is doing. And this is the only adjustment I know of, is the compensation is compensating through the ASA set. So we're throwing Ilford Pan F50 in, and I probably should have done this. Actually, I probably should have done this before I put the lens on, but on this camera, here we go. I'll try to do this best. We might remember I'm leaning over the video camera that you have there, so things are kind of backwards to me here right now. So I'll load this camera. Or I'll try to load it upside down. Right, okay, here we go. Yeah, so it's kind of different that we're doing this. It's kind of a strange, but I kind of like that over the top thing here that we're doing. Okay, and we'll fire, and we'll do it one more time to make sure we got a wrap. And we seem to have a wrap. Close that. You drop the cover back on. It's kind of neat to have that different access. Make sure it's snug. Lock it down. Set our SA, our reminder. And there we go. So in order to do the metering on this, we click this button, your meter's on. And you can see through the top, it's got a top view through. And to turn the meter off, once you've done your metering, you need to push that button down. Like these cameras, the one thing with this viewfinder setup is you can easily leave your meter on. And to test the battery in the meter, what you do is you push the top button down and see it's way over to 0. So we got a pretty good battery in here. Like I said, it's 2 batteries. So here we go. Let's get out. Let's take some photography. I used the 70 to 200, and again, the reason why I'm using this lens is because I got all these other lenses that actually fit on this camera, but I want to do this to show everybody that you can do stop-down metering on this AF, into the 80s lens on this 1959 design. So the thinking ahead and the ability for Nikon, which they are very popular and famous for, of trying to keep it so you can maximize the use of all your lenses on their camera bodies. And then they bought out a few special bodies that you're able to actually use all the way back to the 1958 lens, that is a pre-AI lens, on a few of their bodies, like the FE, the Nikon F4, and there's a digital camera that they also built, so you can actually do this stop down metering by pushing a little button and flipping up on the metering dial, the little tongue, and you're able to put those pre-AI lenses on, and then you do that stop down metering. Stop down metering is you're using your actual aperture setting by pushing the depth of field button and only allowing the amount of light through into your meter that your lens is letting through at the set aperture that you have preset it to. Okay, so let's go give this a go. I'll wind this up so it gets to the start. And let's go do some photography, and I'll show you what we got. Let's keep our fingers crossed. It sounds like all the shutter speeds are working good on this. Gray day, not the best day, but we do photography anyways. It's about minus 15 degrees Celsius, so we're out in the middle of winter with this brand new Nikon F, because I use the cameras. I'm not collecting the cameras. And I'm so excited to do this. The king of cameras. Unbelievable history. Unbelievable history. This is what did it all. Unbelievable history. Everywhere and even out into space. Like, subscribe, click the bell. Let's see what we got.